Do you ever see pieces of furniture that are so dated that you swear its best days were left behind them? Well, not so fast. This tired old dresser might look like it's seen better years, but today we're gonna bring it back to life. And not just with fresh coats of paint. There is a hidden surprise lying underneath all of this fancy hardware, just waiting to be discovered. So grab your coffee or your sanding block because we're about to turn this forgotten furniture into a show-stopping piece. Let's turn some lemons into lemonade. This Drexel buffet has a lot of missing hardware on it, and that's okay. I don't think I was gonna plan on keeping the hardware anyways, but even if I wanted to, there's so much of this that's like broken or just missing that it's not gonna be possible. So first things first, I'm gonna get all of the hardware that's left off of this, and then we'll give it a really good clean. That took way too long. Now let's get this clean. Apparently, this used to have shelves on the inside, and I know that because it's got all of these little like shelf hangers, but no shelves anywhere. And it has a ton of these inside, and also the little holes on the side where the shelves would have gone. The shelves are long gone, so I don't think I'm gonna be replacing them, but I'll definitely save all of this hardware. That's a bummer. Now that I've got all the hardware off, I'm taking a look at this, and there are just some dated details on this that I really don't want at all. So sometimes it surprises people that these things can actually be removed. So this part right here, this is just glued onto the front. So I'm going to use my mallet and a chisel, and we are gonna get this off of here. This one really does not want to budge. It's got a bunch of nails holding it on, which I can see on the inside of the drawer, and then just a ton of glue. So it's coming off one layer at a time, but I've almost got this one loose. Once I get this back one loose, the rest of it should be pretty easy. Well, let's keep going. I'm still chipping away at this, but I turned the camera back on. So two things. One, if you catch me on a reel telling people how easy this was to remove, I'm not being truthful. That is not true. This has been probably the hardest piece of trim decor that I've had to get off. The second thing is to show you all that these are not solid wood. So many of these 80s dressers, I feel like they perfected making particle board look like solid wood. So this is what we're dealing with. This is why I love finding 80s dressers and turning them into something else, because usually they're not made of like really high quality materials, as you can see. And so it just gives them another life. which they would not have had because nobody buys these styles anymore. So if I can get this off of here, then we can continue and I can show you guys what this is about to become. Let's keep going. At this point, I really and truly have no idea what direction this dresser is going to take, but I do know that I want to get the finish off of the top of this and just see what we have lurking underneath this surface. I know that this is probably something that's been like a laminate top on top of this. It's probably some sort of that's like printed on. I'm not quite sure what to call what this technique is, but if you know what it is, you're welcome to share it with me in the comments. But I know that this is not like what the real wood looks like, but I do know that there's real wood that is underneath there. And so I want to see what it looks like just to see if maybe we can do some sort of natural wood top on the top of this. So what I'm going to use first is some QCS. This is a finish remover. I'll spray it all over the top of this, cover it with my plastic wrap, let it do its job, and we'll see what's lurking beneath this factory finish. I'm liking what I'm seeing on the top, so I decided that possibly what I'm going to do with this one is maybe do a two-toned effect on it. So I'm going to go ahead and use my acetone and strip just this top half here of the rest of the finish. Using the acetone and the QCS finish remover has made really quick work of this. This is day number 2, but it probably took me about 2 hours, maybe 2.5, to remove all of the finish from the top and then half of it on the bottom or on the body of the dresser. And then I just let it dry overnight. A lot of people ask me if you have to do anything with the acetone, like wipe it off or rinse it. You do not, it evaporates, but you do want to be really careful with the rags that you use and make sure you lay them flat and dry them in the driveway is what I normally do, away from my garage, because they are flammable. So you do want to be really careful with that if you're going to use acetone. So the next thing I need to do is just get off any remaining finish, but I'm going to be really careful because I do know that this is a thin piece of laminate that I have on the top here. So I'm using a 180 grit on my Surfprep orbital sander. I'm going to give this just a really light once over to get off any residual patches of finish that are left. And then we can move on to the next part. Okay, so now that I've got everything sanded and this whole top part is sanded down to the bare wood, I am gonna separate this by the line of demarcation that I chose. So the top part is gonna be stained and the bottom part is gonna be painted in sort of like this two-tone effect. So now I'm just gonna take my painter's tape and go around where I've decided that the natural point is to stop the staining part and just tape this off and get the bottom portion ready for paint. For the bottom part of this dresser, I'm going to use a color called Balanced Beige. This is from Sherwin-Williams. It's their Emerald Trim collection. Their trim collection does have a built-in primer and a built-in top coat, so I know that I don't need to prime this, which is going to save me an extra step, and I don't have to top coat it. I've got the satin finish in this, so it'll be exactly the finish that I'm going for. The color looks like this. What I was trying to duplicate is Fusion's color that's called Algonquin, which I think is going to be just the perfect neutral for this and definitely help balance the thought that I have for the top. So I've got this all loaded into my Wagner sprayer. I get this from Lowe's. I highly recommend this if you are getting into painting furniture. Just makes it so it doesn't give you those brush marks on your furniture and just looks a lot more professional. I don't have to water this paint down when I use it. If it looks a little thick to you, you can add a little bit of water on the top. I don't have exact measurements for what you would need to add because I usually don't add water. It goes through the sprayer just fine the way it is. So we'll get this loaded in and get the first coat on. Was so excited about being almost done with this project that I forgot about the drawers that go in the top. Since they're in the top, guess what? They also have to be, all the finish has to be taken off them and stripped down to bare wood. So I'm gonna get my acetone back out and try to make quick work of taking off the finish on these. I did have to patch some holes because of the mess I made when I tore off the attached dated detail part in the middle drawer. And then I thought about changing out the hardware for the other doors, but I don't think I'm gonna do that anymore. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to make it blend with what I'm doing on the top, but I think I can make it work. But first we've got to get all of this finish off. That little spot that I had to fix is dry now, so I'm going to sand that down. But look at this beautiful coverage that I got just from one coat of that paint. So I'm gonna put on the second coat. That should be all I need, and then we can start working on the top of this. Moment of truth. Let's pull off the tape. All right, here's my moment of truth. Went back and forth about what to do with this top because we put all this work into this, and if this doesn't turn out the way I want it to, I don't have a second shot at this. So one shot's all I've got. So I've got this Minwax water-based stain. It is a wood finish. And so you can get this at Lowe's. That's where I get mine mixed up. And this is a solid color. It also comes in like a stain consistency, but this looks like a paint wash when you open it up. And they have over 100 different colors that you can tint this. So I had it tinted. Rustic oak is the color that's in this jar. I think it's too thick. It's a little too much like paint for me, and I want this to be more like a stain. But the stain one is a little too thin. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to fix this myself. So I made my own lighter paint wash with it. And you can see the color there. It should go really well with the body of the dresser that we chose. So I've got this mixed up, not to get confusing, but this is the this is the one that is thicker. It says 5 times thicker for easier application. So this is more like a true paint wash, and I've watered that down even more. So it's like a 1/4 water to 3/4 what is already in the jar. And I'm gonna apply this to the top with my sponge here, and I'm gonna move really quick. I waited till about 5 o'clock because our temperatures in Texas were really high today. So it's like 80 degrees right now, so it's a little bit cooler. And then I don't have to worry about it drying so fast. So I'm gonna get the application done to the top, and we'll go on from there. I already know that this middle drawer is going to be the problem child because, well, it's been the problem child this entire flip. So why would it change now? But I have got all these fixes that I did because I took that panel off to try to camouflage with a paint wash, which are technically a little see-through. So this could be an issue, but I'm gonna get it on and try to maybe like layer and see how much of this that I can hide behind that paint wash. The top on this is still a little too blotchy for me, so I am going to do a second coat of the paint wash and just help to see if it blends in some of it. Plus, I already have to do a second coat on this door that I need to fix, the drawer. So I think a second coat will be just fine, but let's get it on and let's see. While the paint wash on the top of this dries, I still need to paint the edges of the doors and right here. And then I also just always paint along this inner rim. It just cleans it up a little bit. So when they open the doors, it looks like it's complete and not overspray. So I'm gonna get those done with a little 2-inch trim brush here while we let the top of that dry. I found some really great brushed bronze adjustable handle pulls that I had left over from another project, which are going to be perfect for this one. I left one of the hardware holes there, and then I just need to finish drilling out this one so that I can attach the hardware. just like that, this tired old dresser is now a total showstopper. Proof that a little vision and some elbow grease can go a really long way. Whether you're refreshing a family heirloom or you're flipping your first thrifted find, I really hope that this dresser flip today inspired you guys to grab your tools and get creative. You never know what's lurking underneath some of these furniture pieces. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that bell so that you never miss a new flip. And I've attached another fabulous fan favorite makeover here, so be sure to watch that one next. And if you're up to trying a makeover just like this one, let me know in the comments below so that I can cheer you on. Until next time, keep turning those lemons into lemonade, one furniture flip at a time. I'll see you soon.